Yo, once again, welcome back. Been that back. Yes, sir, Mr. Nice Guy and the infamous L Poop. Today is December 16th, 2023. And we got an interesting show for y'all today. He's going to be talking about Jive Records. And the reason why we're going to be talking about Jive Records is because we're going to talk about, well, when people actually talk about hip hop labels, the usual suspects always come up: Def Jam, the Death Rows, the Bad Boys, the No Limit, the Cash Money, the, all the usual people. Then you can reach back, and there's a whole lot of labels out there that had a whole lot of influential artists out there, and we forget about labels. So today we're going to talk about Jive. Mr. Nice Guy, what's going on with you, bro?
Oh, I'm chilling, bro. Happy to be a whole lot better, getting over whatever it was I was dealing with. So that's a victory.
Well, glad to have you here. Like I said, we're talking about Jive Records. That's their logo right there. And here go a whole lot of the artists, hip hop artists that they had in alphabetical order.
Yeah, alphabetical. Yeah, I
Right.
wasn't trying to figure out the sequence of it, but yeah, there's a bunch of legends on this list.
Starting with a Tribe Called Quest. You got to put the on there.
You got to say the whole thing. It's like a pimp named Slipback.
Exactly. Akinelli, Ant Banks, Big Boy, Boogie Down Productions, D Nice, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Dr. Ice, E40, Foosnickens, Heath Murray, Cool Mo D, KRS1. We're going to talk about that man in a minute. Lil Mama, Mob Deep, Miss Melody, Mystical, Papoose, Petey Pablo, Q-Tip, R.A. the Rugged Man, Schoolie D, Shaq, Souls of Mischief, Spice One, Steady B, The Click, Too Short, Trina, Tupac. Yes, Tupac was on Jive at one point. We got We Papa Girl. Yeah, We Papa Girl rappers. I don't know about them. Houdini, and then you got the Young Bloods. These are all just an example of some of these artists that came off this label right here. And nobody talks, well, in the conversation that I have about hip hop when we talk about labels, I don't remember anybody mentioning Jive. So let's talk about it today. Mr. Nice Guy, what you got to say about Jive Records, brother?
Yes, as a DJ, I just remember that blue label. You know, um, um, when I think about Houdini, when I think about Steady B, I mean, I loved a lot of those original cats that were on Jive. When you talk about getting later into a Tribe Called Quest, I don't know where we want to start. I don't know if we want to start sequentially, but hold on, there we go. Brick walls in the house. Yeah, that's right.
Rick, how you doing there, brother?
Not bad. Doing well. How are y'all?
We doing
Doing
good,
all
bro.
right. So
Yes,
we
sir.
just getting started talking about the artists, the hip hop artists that were on Jive Records.
Right.
So I don't know if we trying to do this sequentially or we trying to do this as far as what hits us.
Let's just jump around, bro.
Well, okay, well, we're gonna jump around. Let me when I think about first let's talk about Houdini. Okay, let's do them
There you
because
go.
I
Yeah.
when I think about Houdini, I think about going to the Fresh Festival, and I think about Grandmaster D scratching with his mouth, and just that was like a special time for me. So even though it turns out he wasn't much of a DJ, I don't think he did too much actual scratching. It seemed like I was listening to a lot of their music. He wasn't doing too much scratching, so I don't know. But salute to
Not on the
Houdini.
records, but
Yeah, not on records.
in
Yeah,
shows. Yeah, he was.
But yeah, so but man, Houdini. I mean, you talking about them, brothers that were like out there like Run DMC. I mean, you talk about I think Arsenia's first show. I mean, he might have had like Houdini perform or something like that. I mean, Houdini was humongous
Yeah.
on the
Real
scene
talk.
back then. So
It was like Run DMC and then Houdini. Real talk. It was like
mhm,
almost neck and neck in a
mhm.
sense. And the thing I like about Houdini music is it still stands the test of time. It was recorded well, produced well. People
It was
sampled this stuff.
also melodic before
Yes.
hip hop was really embracing a lot of melody. Houdini was early with that, thanks
Right.
to Larry Smith and others.
Yeah, Larry Smith, that was the key right there. He also produced Run DMC, a whole lot of that early Run DMC stuff too. But he was a great, great producer. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, and then
wasn't
they
too
had,
much of a
I was getting
hip
ready to say they had,
hop to say.
let's talk about the Houdini hits. What they had, Friends, One
So
Love,
5 minutes of fun. That
5 minutes.
that was
Funk.
literally the first record I ever bought was
Mhm.
a 45 of 5 minutes of funk on the one side, and on the other side,
Funky
maybe it
Beat,
was Friends or something
or
like
Funky
that.
Beat, or Funky
Huh?
Beat,
No,
Funky
that
Beat.
Funky Beat was like
Funky
the
Beat was later.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Funky Beat was
Mhm.
later, but yeah, the first album was 5 minutes of funk on one side, and I think it was Friends on the other side. It was a 45. That was the first hip hop music purchase that I ever had, and I had a box, a radio that actually had a turntable that came out of it. So that
Right.
was kind of cool. Yeah, you know, you
Well,
Mhm.
tell me
man,
nothing, you know.
yeah.
Had a turntable on my actual boombox, but yeah, no, that 45, that was a special time. I bought that from a Warehouse Records. It used to be on I want to say on La Brea and Rodeo. Now it's
I remember.
Obama. Yeah, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
so
remember
yeah,
that
no,
warehouse over there.
That was
yeah,
like the Tower Records for the hood.
yeah.
The big panels, the big artwork on the
Oh
outside.
man, yeah, that was special, man.
Yeah.
I probably done stole some tapes out of there too. Yeah, I used to go to the warehouse out here in the valley and I used to rip them off. But I got caught up one time. I had tried to get this Red Man, I think it was Muddy Waters. If yeah, it was Muddy. It had to be not Muddy Waters. Yeah, it had to be Muddy Waters. That's the third one, right?
Was it? Might have been the second one.
No, the Dark Side is the second one.
There's Dark Side is the second one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the second
Get
one.
those
Okay.
two
I
confused.
was trying to get that when I put my hands on it, looking around, accidentally got real live. I was mad. I went home and listened to it. It was actually good though. I
Oh
actually
man,
liked
that's funny.
Yeah, I like the you talking about Larry O and K Def?
it. Yes,
Yeah,
yes. Great album.
I
Hey,
thought
Def
so.
was a hell of a producer too. But let me
Yeah.
go spin that back, man. I'm getting way off track.
Yeah,
We're
we were
talking
supposed to
about
be talking
Jive
about
Records.
Houdini. We talking about the Houdini song. So you got Be Yourself with Millie Jackson. You know, you got you talk about Big Mouth. Or you
Oh,
talk about what's that? I'm a hoe.
you know
That
I'm a hoe.
that Ice Cube redid for the Players Club. So you know,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Houdini had a catalog, man. They had some good music. If
It
I
was,
They
lose
did a
the world,
song late. I forgot what it was like off on your own girl,
Escape.
something like that. Remember,
Oh,
what was that? It was something from your own girl or something like whatever, or for the love. It was something, but it was like a later song they did, but it was dope. It was current. It was like,
that
they
was
did a
back when their former employee became their employer,
yeah.
Jermaine Dupri.
oh yeah, yeah. He was a roadie, right?
Yeah, he was the
He was
breakdown
Or a
to
dancer and
dancer,
all that. Yeah.
dancer with him and became their boss.
I know one we forgot. Freaks come out at night.
Yeah.
Yep, man. Yeah, I remember that was the days of blasting music in your cars and your boombox and all that stuff. So that was the era of D batteries. I don't know if people even bother with D batteries anymore, but D batteries were important back then.
If you
Right.
don't know what he's talking about, go look at Do the Right Thing.
I know. Radio Raheem will break it down for you. Yep.
So it was Houdini. Who else was on there? Let's go ahead to another one.
Well, one dude, I'm gonna go alphabetically. I remember Akinelli. The reason why I want to talk about Akinelli is he had a certain song about putting something in your mouth.
Put it in your mouth.
But that was Interscope.
Oh, it was
I
okay.
honestly don't remember what he released with Jive. I mean, Jive was just basically like a bank. They were opportunists, so they would grab for what they thought would have been hot for the moment. So I think they did snatch up some people after they had already
Gotcha.
made their name.
Gotcha.
So Akinelli, yeah, he broke on Interscope. Um, I does anybody even know what the release was that Jive
Yeah,
with them?
I did what Floyd X, what he refers to as the Bible. I did on the Wikipedia and grabbed all the people that the Jive
Oh,
artists,
those the names, but
the
not
names. Yeah,
not
Right,
the
so
right.
actual releases. Yeah, yeah. Because
Yeah, you got
I
the name.
noticed that y'all had Mobb Deep on there, and I think they only did one album out of their large catalog. One was
yeah. Well, that
Jive.
was the thing about it. We were just talking about the fact that they, these people may only had one or whatever, but the fact of the matter, like Tupac, at least had one album that was on Jive or something like that or
Yeah, we
whatever.
just talking about people that came through this label.
Yeah,
The whole point of it is a whole lot of people talk about when we do talk about hip hop labels, we talk about the common people, the Def Jams, the Death Rows, the Bad Boys, the Cash Money, the No Limit, these type of people. We don't really talk about. I forgot all about Jive, in fact.
Yeah, so we're
well,
trying to.
because they're not a hip hop label, and they
But you
were
got a whole lot of artists that was actually that came through.
grabbing from various genres and trying to do their business transactions.
Because we were talking about
Giving you a loan.
like Steady B, talking about Steady B. Now that first album was on I don't know if that was the first album, but that album was Stupid Fresh and Get Physical. That
Yeah,
was on Jive,
right.
and that was a dope
Yeah,
album.
there was a small period of time when Jive was really trying to make an effort to cash in on that hip hop, and they had a lot of people all at the same time, like Boogie Down Productions. I remember, and they were releasing a lot of compilations, basically trying to, I guess, push out their whole catalog in a single release. They were doing those hip hop compilations before a lot of people were doing it.
Hmm.
But those were their artists at the time when they were releasing them. Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince was another one. So yeah, they were pushing the hip hop thing
That's
collectively.
and that's an interesting point. Literally, how I met this dude was the
Yeah,
Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince. I brought this album to school for some. I don't know why I brought this record to school, but he had just got put into my English class.
Was it
He wasn't there.
He's the DJ, I'm the rapper, or
Yeah,
Rock the House?
exactly. That first album, for whatever reason, I brought that to school, and we just started up a conversation, and that was the beginning, and it just went from there. So literally, that Jive record was the beginning of our great friendship.
right.
See,
So
people don't remember. I think he just did a performance though on the Grammys or one of these awards or some show, but people don't remember that. Yeah, Will had some lyrics back in the day. He was straight hip hop.
hey, that's what I
Yeah,
was looking at that RA the Rugged Man. He was sitting there on that interview talking about it. He's like, we understand that everybody has this concept for Will Smith. He's like, but Will Smith was like, battling dudes and and all this stuff in the beginning. He was doing all of that stuff, so
And he definitely
yeah,
was an MC
yeah,
because he
yeah,
hold a mic in front of a real crowd. I mean, in front of a large crowd, a huge crowd.
yeah.
Where was that performance that was on? Was it on the first album? The one with Jazzy Jeff cutting, scratching, and everything. He was barely doing any lyrics, but he was
Yeah,
MCing.
just
So
MCing, just getting
yeah,
the
he
crowd
was
going and stuff
MCing.
like
Yeah,
that.
it was. It's like a lesson if you really want to look at it on
Yeah,
how to do it.
y'all need to go check out that first couple of Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince albums. Classic hip hop right there. If y'all want to know what MC and what hip hop is, those are some good albums right there to grab right there.
Had Beatbox Incorporated.
Beatboxing,
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Oh man.
Ready Rock C was
Yeah.
amazing. So yeah, that's shout out to and he's got his pod thing, his class of '88, I want to say something like
Oh,
that.
right.
So shout
Who,
out
Ready
to
Rock?
no Will Smith.
Oh,
Will
okay.
Smith's got a podcast, I think, called Class of '88, where he just is basically, interviewing and talking about those times. So I listened to the first one. We were basically talking about the beginning with him and Jazzy Jeff, and so it's some good stuff. So
Hey, yo, and one more thing too. Y'all want to know a real DJ? Jazzy Jeff is a real DJ, y'all. And
Top of the food chain, man.
man,
One of
that
the
dude.
greats.
I mean,
Still,
yeah.
he still kept it up.
Yeah. He was one of those cats. You talk about the transforming and just all of that stuff. I mean, that dude was super nice. And you know what? And that was at a time where a lot of them Philly DJs, it was like something in the water, man.
Yeah,
Them
yeah, yep.
and a
Cash
good producer
Money.
too. He made the Fresh Prince of Bel Air music too, right?
No, I didn't know who was
Yeah,
doing that.
He did that. It was like a throwaway track. He just made up something real quick. But yeah, he's a hell of a producer too. Either way, who else you got on that list, bro?
Who else we had on that list?
Or
Yeah.
Brick, either one of y'all throw them up.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about a Tribe Called Quest, man.
Oh, there you go.
When you talk about a Tribe Called Quest, this is a group that I always think about. When I think about us musically, I was like, this was a group that was really about making great songs. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it was not only that, when you have Fife talking about, strictly hardcore tracks, now the New Jack Swing, you didn't have to be NWA to be hardcore. So that's why we always distinguish that, hardcore hip hop, Rakim and stuff like that. It's not just a function of cussing and being vulgar and stuff like that. It was a particular type of hip hop that just was no softness about it. And Tribe, I mean, the beats, the drums were just ridiculous, So I mean, they covered all the aspects. They were a great group.
In my opinion, Tribe used the best sample drum loops on their albums than anybody ever, period.
Oh yeah, I started referring to the type of breakbeats that they incorporated as Tribe drums at one point. Yeah,
Tribe drums was drums nobody had used on anything else. It was like they had their own. They didn't use the regular stuff, the synthetic substitution. They didn't use getting too big for or whatever. I forgot the name of that break. They didn't use the funky drum all the time.
They use a lot of Southern soul.
Yeah, and obscure stuff.
Yeah,
I
heard a rumor that Beat Nuts were a lot of the guys doing the crate digging for that.
Wow.
For that whole clique. They were like the unnamed native tongue members, the Beat Nuts. Before the Beat Nuts were the Beat Nuts, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I can believe that because listen to their music, listen to how they put their
yeah, they had some dope stuff. I'll never forget that first time you brought over that Reign of the Tech, and I was just like, oh man, this.
yeah.
And we used to always clown Leroy because his favorite song there was No Equal.
No Equal.
Like, we'd be like, there's no equal to the fact that
man, they are dope. But let's get back. Tribe Called Quest. When did you get hip to a Tribe Called Quest?
I want to say, because I remember it was like the JBs and the promos and stuff.
I was about to say the promo was the first
introduction.
I remember Q-Tip at least.
Everybody know Q-Tip first. Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, it was the promos. So that was the thing. But I mean, I remember listening to that album, and Fife didn't rap too much, but I always thought like, wow, he's got a dope voice.
Jerobi, I think, was actually rapping on there.
I think so.
The first had a couple of them, but it was still very much Q-Tip in the front. It was that first release. I mean, they were in the visuals. I left my wallet in El Segundo and everything. Very much, you saw that there was a crew. You didn't hear them.
Infinite Applebum was basically him too.
Yeah.
Ah man, that's just dope. You just making me just listen. I mean, it's like their discography. That was the one thing that always hurt my heart to say. I would say that, look, to me, De La Soul was a better group than Tribe, but I was like, Tribe might have a better discography.
I
Oh
wouldn't even
yeah,
say
I
that.
would say so. I mean, they
Why
are.
would you say
It
hip hop?
depends on what you like, what you gravitate towards.
Yeah.
Um, Funk or jazz, or they went and they split in their directions.
Yeah.
Into, um, still was kind of the same kind of vibe or
Yeah.
essence, but the guys that like more of the funk type of element were more what they
They
also later, what they later went into. They got heavier into those Dilla tracks and everything, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think Tribe were the ones that really brought the attention to Dilla first.
Yeah, Q-Tip.
And then
Q-Tip,
it
like
was
this dude is
just
dope.
like, oh, okay, and just went hardcore in that direction. So much so that their later releases didn't even resemble their first two albums. Which,
Hey,
I mean, I personally like early Day a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah.
wait a minute. Shout out to Dilla. Rest in
Yeah,
peace.
yeah.
Just had to say that. Go ahead, Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah. When I think about those, I mean, Tribe just touched people. It just reached people. I mean, it sort of like had pop success was strictly hardcore hip hop, like true essence hip hop. You know what I'm saying? They figured out a way to make something that was very widely consumable that even the females got into. Because a lot of times you'd have to make sort of like hip hop tracks for the guys, and then you got like, okay, well we'll do this for the females so they have something to dance to in the club or something like that. But I mean, Tribe was something that kind of touched everybody.
It did. I mean, in 1990, I put my mother on the Tribe. She liked it. So that's an entirely different generation. She ends up introducing her older brother to it. Like, what the hell is going on in this universe? My mother is suggesting that her older brother listen to some hip hop, and it was Tribe Called Quest. So yeah,
Yeah,
they definitely had something that
yeah, that's a
appealed to a
special
lot of
group.
ears. Yeah, yeah.
I love Tribe, but I didn't know Q-Tip's name until Groove Is in the Heart came out.
No,
Wow. That
I
was a
had
dope song.
it was
That
it
was a
was super
dope
dope.
song. That
It
was a
was dope.
dope
I saw
song.
him rapping on there. I was talking to this girl. I'm like, I do this rapping from Tribe Called Quest on this song. She's like, Q-Tip. I'm like, that is his name. I thought about what De La said, so I point at Q-Tip and he says black is black. I'm like, duh.
yep, yep.
All right. Yeah, so Tribe was dope though. What was your favorite album by Tribe?
That's what I was trying to think, man. I don't know. I don't know. I had to look at them because I mean, it would probably lean towards like the second or the third. I don't think I'd put the first one. Like I, man, I don't know. I have to look and see what's on what's on the. For some reason, I'm feeling like Midnight Marauders, but I'd have to see what's on the actual track list. My memory is so terrible, but I mean those albums. I mean, Tribe Q-Tip got a song. Tribe Called Quest got a song on the Love Movement. I want to say where it's just like I forgot how it goes, but I mean the flow that Q-Tip does on the song is like dun 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 dun. It's just like oh man, I'd have to look up that song, but I'm telling you that's one of my favorite Tribe Called Quest songs. So I
I
mean,
think I know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
I mean it's just that flow that he did on that. I just thought it was so perfect with the track, and it's just breaking it down. I had to look it up, but I mean that I'm but I mean if I'm gonna guess, I'm probably saying Midnight Marauders.
I'll be stuck between that and the Low End Theory. They kind of run together for me in my memory. Some of the songs,
What
like
about
the
you,
War.
Greg?
Mm-hmm.
I'm early Tribe
So,
easily. It
which one
depends
jumps
on
out?
my mood whether or not it's going to be the first or the second. Sometimes
Gotcha.
it's people's instinct. Sometimes it is low end theory. Low end theory is more just the personal experience. I was in LA for their Low End Theory listening party, and that was a hell of an experience in hip hop. And it wasn't just because of their release. I mean, it was all the people that were there. It was an underground spot, but had celebs up in there. And I remember Everlast and Be Real grabbing Rob One's mic and just doing a impromptu just rhyme and doing a song that they never ever released. And it was just incredible.
Rest in peace to Rob One. Shout out
Rob
to our
One,
fallen
he
brother.
was the DJ for that
Yeah.
listening party. You know,
Rest in peace.
One. I witnessed Coolio snatch his
Yeah.
copy.
I had beef with him. I had beef with him after that. I was incensed after that.
Yeah.
I was
What,
like,
Well, I
Coolio?
thought that was very risque for Rob One to put on F Compton.
You had beef with your boy for saying
in
that.
Los
no,
Angeles.
I had beef with homeboy
With
Rick for
Coolio.
picking up my boy's records like that. I
Coolio
had a-
snatched the F Compton record off the platter and broke it into pieces. And none of us realized that he had done it until it was already in pieces. And I don't know, he was on something though. I think he was on some substances.
I was incensed. I was blood.
Shout out to Coolio, rest in peace.
Rest in peace to Coolio. Yeah, well, that's what it is. But who we want to talk about somebody else other than
I want to go down to the Bay Area to E40. E40 was on Jive. He got a distribution deal with Jive way back in the day. He said he showed the game to everybody about the distribution and everything. And I give it to him. So shout out to E40. Love that boy. He had other artists out there too, the Southwest Riders. I guess the whole clique. Was the whole clique on Jive? Anybody know?
I don't even know. I don't know. They may have all touched a release on Jive. They may have.
In fact, I think they did. So shout out to the clique either way. Let me just go ahead and that. Yes, sir. And then staying up that way, Souls of Mischief.
Right.
love those cats, the Artifacts. That was a dope little collective over there. They translated well to the sort of like the whole
that was a
hieroglyphics.
Hieroglyphics. My bad. Yeah, thank you. Hieroglyphics.
Shout out to the high road.
But yeah, Dale the funky Homo sapien. Sorry, But yeah, so that was that was a dope ass song. The 96 till infinity. 93. Yeah, there you go. My memory is all crazy, but yes, them cats did that. So, and it's funny. I always think about Victor. Vic was talking about one of that. That was a song that really hit on the East Coast, like when he was in college that they were playing, and that's just kind of funny. That West Coast song touched them like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Casual even came out on Jive. At least one album, his first.
What's up, Corey Zek? What's going on with you? Hope y'all all staying warm. New SNL tonight also. Okay. I'm going to chill a bit with y'all. Okay. Chill on with us, bro. Yeah, we got you.
That's right.
What you know about Jive Records up in there, bro? You got anything for us?
Yeah, I didn't know too much. E40 is a dude that I respect a lot. That wasn't really my lane, but I mean, I felt like he made a lot of music that kind of touched. It was very. Let me see. I know that I know a lot of East Coast people really don't like him. They look at him kind of like how a lot of people look at that dude from what was the dude that we always talk about? The dude from No Limit that people be dogging all the time.
The younger brother, Silk the Shocker.
There's a lot of East Coast people that look at E40 like Silk the Shocker and always think that that's an unfair comparison because I feel like E40 is actually really got some dope elements and stuff about him, and it's not just his his presentation, but I mean, his topics, his things, and the lingo, all of that stuff. But he actually makes very catchy songs that are just sort of like, wide appeal. And he's done that late in the game. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
shout out to
Personally, I
E40.
think people don't like E40 on the East Coast is because of Big making that comment, or that whole story about Big making that comment in a Canadian magazine talking about E40 wasn't even on his radar at all, and E40 getting at him out there in the Bay Area, setting up the show.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Be careful
that's
who
why
you
I
talk.
think a lot of that's why I think a lot of East Coast cats don't really mess with E40 because of that story right there. But you can't sleep on E40. He got his own style. He's been doing it for a whole all these years, for what, 3-4 decades, doing his thing, bro. He's still relevant. He's still making good music. Hey,
Yeah.
you can't take nothing from him.
And he's 100% authentic. That's the thing about a lot of these cats is rapping about stuff they seen. He's doing more. He's not one of those. He's not just a reporter.
Right. He got his, like I say, he got his own lane. He goes everywhere. He got all kinds of topics he talk about. He got his own style. You can't copy his style. He's a businessman too. That's another thing. Shout out to E40. Let me spin that back one time.
Yeah, I remember him in when he was that song when he's talking about freestyle, and and him and Tupac was like, yeah, for freestyle, he's talking about I don't do nothing for free.
Mm.
But yeah, he's a businessman. That's what's up.
This cat said, I love UB40. UB40, yeah, that's something else, bro. We said E40, bro.
Talking about UK reggae now, huh?
Red wine and all that. Yes, sir. Shout out to my boy Corey Zach.
But yeah,
you, bro. That's what we're here for, bro. We educate you on this old school hip hop right here. So, what's some more artists out there?
You know
bro?
what? Speaking of educating, let's talk about this KRS-One situation because KRS-One ended up on Jive Records. We know about the whole jerk down that happened with B-Boy Records, and he got himself on Jive. And I tell you, that's still number one remix. Is one of my favorite remixes of all times. It's just I love the way how the drum doubles up and everything. He's that dude. I love and respect KRS-One, but I took issue with what he said. He's talking about, didn't want to go on to the Grammys. And my thing is this, I respect him. If he don't, if KRS-One doesn't want to perform somewhere, that's all he got to say for me. But as far as the opportunity to bring that audience, that authentic KRS-One, to me, that was like a lost opportunity. We know that those cats really don't know hip hop. You know what I'm saying? They have a category that they label hip hop. They have music that they associate with hip hop. But KRS-One would have given you an example of genuine, authentic hip hop, and he would have brought it to an audience that just, could have used it.
But was this the same issue that the other rappers at the time had an issue with the Grammys?
Well,
Smith and Fresh Prince, Salt and Pepper, they all banned the Grammys the year that they made the rap category.
Yeah, they made a rap category the first time, but they didn't air that on TV.
That was the issue that they had.
Like, then they brought like that on.
New Age or something. Yeah.
But that was nearly 35 years ago. This is what he said last week.
Yeah.
What did he say? I missed it.
Oh yeah, no. The LL Cool J reached out to him because everybody's doing sort of like these 50th year anniversary hip hop celebration type shows. Mm-hmm. So LL Cool J, who's like has a big hand in a lot of keeping a lot of old stuff relevant because he's got that Rock the Bells radio,
right?
Which has got literally Grandmaster Caz got a radio show. You know what I'm saying? Grand Wizard Theodore doing. You know what I'm saying? It's just like this is the, it's still. But suffice it to say, LL Cool J reached out to him to for like a performance, and he was like, nah. They ain't been trying to reach for me for 50 years. And after 50 years, now they want to reach out to me. Nah. And I'm like, if that's the way you feel, that's the way you feel. But I'm like, look, this is an opportunity to give this audience, this bigger audience. We always complain about all they're putting out is this crap, and we need to shine a light on some good stuff. And this is an opportunity to really shine some light on some good stuff. And
Yeah, let me
and
jump
he
in
just
right
felt
here.
like they're exploiting it. And I'm like, I understand that they're exploiting it, but it's not about so much what they're.
You're making a damn good point. But let me say one thing. 50 years ago, nobody knew anything about hip hop. There was no hip hop records 50 years ago.
Right.
That's true. So I mean, but I guess he talks about. He goes, maybe if you called me in the 47th and start getting me ready, and then blah blah blah. I mean, I felt like,
He
look,
said
man,
that.
yeah, that's what he said.
Mm.
I mean, he was kind of joking. He was probably tongue in cheek. But my point is like, if you take that perspective, then this is the 50th. You getting ready for the 55th. The bottom line is now we're shining light on a lot of these people, the Cold Crush Brothers, the Funky 4+1, the Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. When we're giving this shine to these brothers, we probably should take every opportunity that we can to, Bambata. I understand the ugliness that's going on wrong with Bambata, but we're talking about the music, still. So it's one of those type of situations where I felt like it was a missed opportunity.
I don't know. I'm suspecting that he might not be very honest about it. And his reasoning might be that he wants to maintain his exposure on his own platform.
And I think that that's what it
True.
was.
Uh,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he has his own YouTube channel celebrating the 50th year and everything, but in that he has a 5-hour video and goes on to talk about the 100th year of hip hop. So he's already thinking forward. He's already thinking the future. He's in the performance. He says we are in the 100th year now. So he's conscious of time and history and how it's all relative. And I think that he just wants to have his own platform.
Well, and that was the argument that we were making on the Focus Up show earlier, because and I was saying that even though you got your own platform, this is your opportunity to shine your light on this bigger audience and direct them back to that platform.
Exactly.
So,
Right.
you see what I'm saying? It's just like, what I did is I offered up this Bruce Lee quote where he's talking about basically you can't be worrying about them, doing this minor injury at the cost of you securing this greater injury to them. It's not about what they get out of it. It's about what you get out of it. You got to think about the bigger win. So, but it's all you look like you about to say something else, Pooh.
Also, if you are hip hop, like you say you are, you go where hip hop goes and do what hip hop is doing and exploit the hip hop. You should exploit hip hop through the Grammys because the Grammys is the biggest musical awards that you have. It's the biggest musical platform for a lot of people tune in to the Grammys. You should be there as the teacher, as whoever you represent to be. You should be there and let people know who you are, because a lot of people don't know who you are, and
that's the
these
reality.
New people don't know it.
That's
These
the
new people
reality
don't
of
know.
it.
These new people
Not
don't
everybody
know.
knows who KRS-One is. It's just like, I understand that he's near and dear to all of us, but the fact of the matter is there's been generations after us that just are completely oblivious to this, and this is an opportunity for you to sort of like bring them back. So that's like I said, I'm not gonna blame a grown up for not doing something that grown up don't want to do, but I felt like it was a missed opportunity for an exposure on a platform that usually doesn't get this type of stuff. They're always playing crap, and this is an opportunity to put some real good content out there, and I felt like it was a missed opportunity.
Right, I agree, 100%.
So we want to bring up somebody else that was on that list. So let's see. Fushnikins.
Oh yeah.
Now, I gotta tell you, always love those cats. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the Ring the Alarm, I thought that was dope. It was very different. I mean, it was sort of like they were doing the sort of like the Asian thing before Wu-Tang was doing it. But Fushnikins, but particularly when they got to like True Fu Schnig, and one of my favorite songs is that What's Up Doc with Shaquille O'Neal. So we're gonna talk about Shaq because Shaq was on Jive too. But that What's Up, Can We Rock, What's Up Doc, to me, I still get like emotional listening to that song today. To me, that song is just a banger. It's just got the energy. It's just got everything. And I thought that fool, Chip Fool, was amazing. I thought Pac was pretty dope. I wasn't a big fan of the other dude, but you know,
Mock.
he was solid. Yeah, Mock, but he was solid.
My favorite song from them was Losh Move. I love that.
Right.
I loved it, but you know what? I didn't like
Fife.
I didn't like Fife's part. I thought he killed the energy of it. I thought like, oh, come on. This is the vibe of everything. And you just like literally your rhyme just like took it all down. Just threw away all the energy of it, you know. And he's a dope rapper too.
I forgot all about Fife being on that song. I just
That was intentional. Yeah, I mean, those guys had an association with Tribe mentioning.
Well, because Tribe, Fife was the cousin of one of them. I don't know if it was Chip, but he was related to one of them.
Oh, okay. And
so that was that connection. So yeah.
Q-Tip produced what was the one that you mentioned that you did like, or other than Cannot Rock? True Fusion.
Oh yeah, True Fusion. That is a banger. In fact, some other dude, some recent dude did sort of like a remake of that song. Some recent like artist that did that. She literally did it's a True Fu Schnick. That's like the name of the song. So you know, yeah, it's you know, but that was a banger.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, What's Up Doc? Was that the first song Shaq was on?
I don't remember.
I think that's the first time I heard Shaq.
I feel like that was the first time I seen him rapping. That's for darn sure. And I felt like, wow, he stumbled himself on a really kind of a dope song. And you know, he had a real kind of clever thing. He was talking about not Alonzo Mourning, not Christian Laettner. You know, not Alonzo Mourning. You know,
Shaq was the best sports rapper out there to me.
He was definitely the guy that was the most serious, that did those things, you know, because I mean he had that song that I want to say that it felt like DJ Quick produced it. That was a single. It was like a real big single.
Straight Ballin'.
Yeah, you know, so yeah, so he did some things. Hey, as disrespectful as it was, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and act like that whole Kobe how my ass takes thing wasn't like was. I'm not gonna act like that wasn't like, you know, that was something. It was. I mean, it was hilarious. It was disrespectful, and you know, I'm just happy my Lakes won 2 championships after that.
Yeah, that was super disrespectful.
Yeah,
Shaq.
sure.
You know what? Let's spend that back on Shaq. You know, man. But yeah, but Shaq, like I said, he was the best person that came from the sports world that tried to make records, rap records. He was the best that did it ever. So I'll give you that right there, Shaq. Shaq Fu.
I'm sure Dame Dollar probably protests that, but you know, he ain't had the commercial success that Shaq did.
Dame Dollar.
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
Oh, you talk about geez, I forgot his name from Portland. Well, he's with the Milwaukee Bucks, but Dame, I can't believe I forgot his name. My homeboy is literally his cousin. But he used to play for the Portland. He was a point guard for the Portland Trailblazers. Now he's with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah,
but, you know,
like I said, never heard him. Never heard of him.
Him and Shaq had a rap battle.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
So,
I still know
a
Shaq.
lot of people were saying, "Hey, I think Brick Walls was Team Dame." So you know,
okay.
But I was Team Shaq. I was Team Shaq.
Hey, I'm Team Shaq all day, straight up. Ooh.
Well, I'm just as far as the rapping. I wasn't Team Shaq back in the Lakers time. I was Team Kobe back then, but still, yeah.
Hey, I was Team Lakers. I'm just Team Lakers.
There you go. But let's go back to.
Oh, go back to who?
No, I was about to say you want to get back to the list, or
yes, sir.
We talk about
I was ready to bring up Kool Mo D.
Now you want to talk authentic? This was one of the authentic OG dudes. You know what I'm saying? That not only did his stuff in that era, but then he came into a whole nother era and sort of like reinvented himself and made, he literally positioned himself, marketed himself as grown man music. They was playing stuff, playing, it's just how the music was. He was doing stuff to try to be grown up and mature. So I mean, shout out to Kumo D, and he went after LL.
Yes. And you know what? To me, Kumo D was the first intelligent. Well, no, maybe the second intelligent rapper. Well, maybe the first. But the second that I heard on record. The first was a dude from UTFO.
About the educated rapper. Shout out to the educated rapper. Rest in peace, yo, man. I love UTFO. Love those guys. But yeah.
In fact, was UTFO on there?
Actually,
they was part of Jive too. Yeah, actually, yeah.
They started off on Select, so they must have made their way over there to that. That was what you was talking about as far as grabbing folks up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Dr. Ice had a release on Jive.
And Doc Ice was dope. He just you know what I'm saying? He never got his shine, but that was a dude that really delivered as far as, even in the scope of the UTFO, songs. But I remember hearing himself and thinking like, this dude's got a dope presentation and delivery, lyrics, and all of this stuff. But it never clicked for him as an individual artist, as a solo artist.
Right.
Well, let's talk about another cat, Keith Murray.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When I first heard Keith Murray, I didn't like him. I heard him on that Eric Sermon, Hostile. I'm like, this dude.
Oh, love that one.
Yeah.
Oof, I still love that one to
96
this.
degrees in the shade before I catch blood on my blade. I was like, this dude. But when I heard Most Beautifulest Thing, I was like, oh man, this dude right here.
He was the first guy that I think of that just used his name.
Eric Sermon.
Yeah.
Nah, he was he was the EMD, the E. He used his name, but that wasn't like that. This dude, he don't have no alternative name. It was always Keith Sermon. I'm sorry, you made me mix him up. Keith Murray. I mean, that was a time where EMD. He had he had a bunch of sort of like hip hop names and stuff like that. Because that was around that time. I remember when Dave stopped, want to be identified as the Dove and stuff like that, and Trugoy, and so that was but Pasta Noose is still like, I'm still Pasta, but Keith Murray, he was dope. But I remember I was thinking like, oh, this guy's kind of a spoil sport. I always rock with the names. I'm still rocking with the names. Mr. Nice Guy.
How did y'all feel about Keith Murray's first album?
I thought it was all right. I thought he was good. I just didn't necessarily relate to how he packaged it all. That funk thing, and then the whole drug element, which apparently still has a hold on him to this day.
Those interviews are tough now. But that was telling you about the El Poo thing. I was like, a lot of the sort of like West Coast gangster music was really sort of like in the funk and all this other stuff. And I respect a lot of that music, but that wasn't really my lane per se. So that wasn't going to be like a driving force for me. That definitely wasn't going to be an easy sell.
I didn't realize he was talking about
he's done recently, though. I like it's underground. It's not going to sell or appeal to a wide audience, but like that stuff he does with Cannabis and real underground, dark, obscure stuff. I mean, I like it. I can dig it.
I didn't realize he was talking about drugs. I thought he was talking about just weed on his first album, like the Bomba Z. I thought that was like a type of weed they had or something, or just slang for weed. But I found out there was really some other stuff, and it's sad. Really sad.
Yeah, he was Eminem before Eminem.
Eminem makes sense though. He just threw a lot of words together. Just to me,
I'm talking about the drug stuff that Eminem literally harbored on. He was like I'm a white boy doing white boy drugs, and I'm like really rapping about this. So that was kind of far out there.
Yeah, but M was just well, he white, so that's
That was
his.
the thing. It was like, yeah, he's white, so I guess whatever. Because yeah, he talked about doing drugs. I was like, black people okay with this? But that was his audience. He was still dope, but it's just like, yeah, that was some tough subject matter.
I hate to say it, Eminem is super dope. He is just super dope. He makes me laugh and everything. He's a complete artist to me.
You said you hate to say it. I was waiting for the turn.
All right.
I hate to say that.
Why you hate to say that? He's very skilled. I may not necessarily want to bump his songs or anything, but I acknowledge the skills are phenomenal.
Well, I actually bump a few of it. I don't know why people don't say that. Why people say that so much?
Because it's true. I mean, you don't jump in the car and go, you know what I'm gonna do on my road trip? I'm gonna rock some Eminem. No, it doesn't happen.
Like, to me, like Guilty Conscience, that's a song where, I mean, to me, that's a banger. It's just a dope ass song. It's a dope flow. Everything about it is dope. But I mean, a lot of the other stuff, his songs don't resonate with me.
Yeah,
I like Business. I like a few.
A lot of black people. Lord Jamar was very accurate on that one.
Yeah, that's what I felt. When Lord Jamar said about that, that was my position. To me, he's that dude as far as an MC, as far as a rapper. Yeah. I have the utmost respect for him, but his music is not for me.
Man, I would jump in my car right now, throw in some Eminem, turn down kind of low, and roll around playing.
That's like me rolling down Rosecrans. Once I get to a certain part, that Justin Timberlake song comes down a little bit. The windows go up a little bit. Like, hey, let me go pick up my wife so she can be in the passenger. I'm like, that's her music.
I would put on Justin Timberlake before I would throw on Eminem. I mean, it just is what it is. I think he's I like early Eminem incredibly. Then he changed, and as it turns out, I found out it was all accidental. Those early cadences that he was doing that I thought was just groundbreaking. Wow, he introduced different rhythms of hip hop. It turns out he just didn't know how to rap on beat correctly. And he started listening to other artists like AZ. He talks about how he listened to AZ and started learning cadences and things like that. And so he corrected it, and ever since then, I found him to be a little bit boring. So the thing that I liked about him early on, other than him being great with lyrics, the rhyme that he was doing, it was a mistake. I thought it was a good mistake, but he changed it. I just don't rock with him as much.
Okay, let's go here. Back to the Bay. And tell me how the East Coast feels about Too Short.
I don't know what the East Coast feels about. I don't know.
I remember Too Short. When I think about Too Short, I think about the debates that we used to have at lunch. Remember that dude that used to always talk about? He's like Too Short. He was the dude that was talking about top billing versus we were talking about the Mantronics beats. Even though we like flip flopped on that argument, we were thinking like he kind of was onto something there.
Right.
But as far as the Too Short, that just wasn't my lane. I just never got into it. I mean, I love that whistle song. Like that's just like, what I'm saying? That's one of the greatest songs ever in my mind. But I'm not a big, I can't figure I'm a big Too Short fan. I respect what he's done.
I wasn't a real big Too Short fan because I thought he was just explicit just for no reason. And then I started listening to his, other stuff that came up in the 90s, the early 90s, like The Ghetto and Life Is Too Short and all that type of stuff. He had a little message. He was all right, but he never just really moved the needle like it really should have. But I respect him, though, because one thing I can say, he never changed his style. He's still doing his thing. And he still comes out with good music here and there, So shout out to Too Short. Spin that back one time. Shorty the Pimp. Put Oakland on the map in terms of hip hop.
Right.
It's another cat from out there, Spice One. Do y'all know anything about? I know the East Coast used to love him.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how Spice One did. I don't know who his real audience was, other than his local core fan base. But
Yeah,
yeah, he was cool.
that wasn't my lane either.
Yeah, I didn't really dig him too much, but I like him because I heard some interviews lately. I just like to hear his stories, so he's an interesting dude. So you know,
Mm.
I ain't really dig too much of his music. I ain't really bump his music. I respected his music, but
Yeah,
hey, it is what it is. So somebody got up here, We Papa Girls rappers. Who is
Okay,
that?
wait. The name came up. Okay, now it sounds familiar because this is like old because they were like talking about like the 80s and stuff like that.
yeah, I remember who they were, but I wasn't into it. I don't think I've ever owned anything from Lee Papa.
But yeah, so I mean, it was just a function of that they were part of the stable. I'm just gonna, if you were on there, I'm gonna shout you out, even though I may not really, rock with you or something like that. I mean, you want to talk about someone who's a sort of like an underground guy. We can talk about R.A. the Rugged Man. That's a dude who's, you know, I loved his interviews. I remember, wasn't he in that documentary that you sent me about grown rappers?
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, and it was a funny thing. I mean, he's talking about, it's kind of embarrassing to introduce yourself as a rapper, as a grown man, whatever and stuff like that. But he's like, this is still my passion. This is still what I do. So this is what I do. He's like, I do other stuff too, but this is what I do too. But you know,
So he was on Jive as R.A. the Rugged Man.
well, according to Wikipedia, because I know that he was on the Raucous, the sound bombing and stuff like that. So that was
Yeah, but when my first introduction in R.A. the Rugged Man, that name hadn't been introduced yet. It was Crustified Dibs. At the release that he was on with Jive.
That I don't know. I.
Because the R.A. the Rugged Man came out after the Crustified Dibs thing, and he was buried, entrenched in the underground at that point as R.A. the Rugged Man. I would have been surprised if Jive would have tried to run with R. That would have shocked me. That just seemed like that wouldn't even be a good financial move.
And the way that he talked about how he was disrespectful to the labels. He was like, they were like, yeah, he was working with Biggie or something like that. And they were like, yeah, we need a Juicy from you. He's like, okay. And he did the most disrespectful anti-radio type song ever. They were like,
that's how he is.
It's because these labels will try to make you into something else, though. That's what it is.
Well, yeah, because they're trying to protect their investment.
Yeah. That's what it is, an investment.
Money,
they need a return on that investment.
Exactly. They're not doing this for fun or love of the culture. Not at all.
Yeah, well, that was the thing about it. When you sound like underground hardcore people, these guys weren't so much worried about making that. So if you're really in the business trying to make music, make money, your stable better be including some other stuff. That's sort of like something you can put out there as an alternative to this thing. But we knew that we weren't really going to eat as artists like that. A lot of times doing the underground stuff, it'd have been it'd have been great. But I mean, basically, you're going to have to do like a Pusher song or something like that to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Real talk. And before we get up out of here, one more, Schoolie D.
Now you talk about the original gangster rapper. I mean, this was literally the beginning, and not only was this the template, but I mean, literally, Ice-T's 6 in the Morning is almost a verbatim rip-off of everything about it. I mean, just the flow, everything about it. And I mean, this song was a banger. This dude was really a musician, though. That once I start like listening to hearing about this stuff, I mean, he has so much percussion going on. He wasn't doing just like basic beat stuff like that. I mean, he was doing intricate percussion on programming and stuff like that. And it was high quality stuff. And he's an entertaining dude. I love the fact that the Aqua Teen Hunger Force, I had him do the That was one of the things that got me into the Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I was like, yo, these dudes went and got OG and he wrote the theme song for them. I'm rocking with these cats, and I was following them the whole time behind that. And every time that came on, the Shake Zilla, the one that got me going. I was like, it was a shout out to Schoolie D, even though I thought he was like literally crazy. But shout out to that.
Shout out to Schoolie D.
All art is how art. He did, the art for his album. So that was another thing that he was probably clocking money from.
I don't know how true this is. I heard he was doing all those drum programming freehand too.
Wow.
Yeah, I heard that. That would be crazy, but but he's a musician. I mean, he plays like all these instruments. So that was a trip. But I mean, he was really talking about some real gangster stuff. Parkside Killers,
Yeah, PSK.
So, yeah, PSK. Yeah, that's just everything about that. The cadence of that was special, man.
Yeah.
He was on to something.
Yeah. So let's correct your boy Special Ed. Schoolie D was the one that brought all that old mess to the hip hop game. With that trash talking, everything he was doing. Well, anyway, it's about an hour up in here, bro. I think it's about that time for us to get up out of here. Hey, I appreciate y'all once again. I'm talking about my co-host here, and we do appreciate y'all out there too. We want y'all to push that like button and share, subscribe. We want y'all to tune back in and watch it as many times as you can, and tell your people to just put it on in the background while they ain't doing nothing, just looking to spin that back show and the focus up show. But catch us here next week. Next week we go do a show on we gonna call it Christmas rapping. We gonna talk about the Christmas hip hop music out there over the years, old school like we do every time. So we out of here from Spin That Back show, y'all.